Hi, welcome to another episode of the PPC podcast. I'm Avi Solomon. I am a freelancer that works with Amazon sellers and e-commerce sellers, whether it's Amazon, Walmart. Those are my two specialties. Macy's, Target, I can also do. But here we discuss mainly PPC and Amazon in particular, but my knowledge base is anything e-commerce. One of the topics that I when working with clients, I see a lot of times that they don't always get, which is they'll say, "Hey, why did this campaign not perform as well?" And I usually will tell them, "Well, the answer is because the listing needs improvement." And sometimes they're receptive to it, and sometimes they're like, "No, the listing is fine." Generally, here's the thing about PPC: you can very quickly look and see if it's bidding on the correct keywords and it's using exact as its main force. You go into an account and you see PPC that's going after broad, going after automatic, crazy automatic. I think automatic is good for a little bit, but a lot is usually excessive and where you're going to bleed and waste money. Going after phrase, then it's a PPC problem. But whenever the PPC is going after the correct keywords, not bidding crazy, and you're still having problems, that's usually a sign that it's a listing issue and not a PPC issue. And so what I will always come and tell a client that I'm working with is I launch a campaign. I'll go through the keywords if they want, and I'll say, these are all the best keywords. I'll prove it to them by showing them their own search query analytics data. Right? If the search query report shows that these are the keywords that you got orders on previously, now sometimes that can be misleading if it's a weak listing that really hasn't gotten that many orders at all. So then the search query report needs to be taken with a grain of salt. But if it's a coffee maker, then you know the word coffee maker is not a crazy keyword to go after. Now, that's only a half true because in a certain sense, it's not crazy to go after, but if you're bidding $5, it's crazy because it's such a generic keyword. So there's a lot of factors that go into that. But in the end of the day, there's a very easy way to look at the PPC, look at the keywords that are being targeted and how they're being targeted, as long as it's being targeted with exact and not crazy PPC, and you could see that you're getting top of search and still not converting, then you could say this is probably less of a PPC issue and more of a listing issue. And when that comes, and there are other signals as well. You could look at the click-through rate. Now, the click-through rate is not going to tell you anything other than the main image and the title. If people are clicking into it, but they're not making that purchase on conversion, that means your main image and your title may be okay. Not necessarily that it is okay. It may be okay, but there's something in the listing, either the other images, the price, somewhere along the lines, you're losing the customer. And what people have to know to succeed at Amazon, it's not just having great PPC. You have to have a great listing as well. You could have the best PPC campaign, the best PPC strategy in the world. But if you don't have a great listing, and now with everyone making their images with AI, if you're not keeping up with that, a lot of clients I work with, I obviously may add an additional fee, but if I feel it's necessary and I talk to the client and they agree, we redo the listing images. Today, I'm not a graphic design artist. But I'm a creative person, and today with AI, you can go 90%, if not higher, using AI-generated images. So again, it's very important to know that today, PPC, it's not just today. It was always this way. It's more so today with competitors being able, it used to be, you could sometimes be, if you had big pockets, you could beat your competitors just by making $2,000, $3,000 images, the highest end graphic design artist money could buy. And you won because your competitors were using cheap images. Today, everyone's making nice images with AI, or at least a lot of people are. And you have to be able to keep up with that. And what you need is you need someone, a lot of times agencies, Amazon agencies that are in particular PPC agencies, they don't ever get involved in the images. They're like, I do the PPC. I can't tell you how many times I came into an account and I sat down with the previous agency I was taking over, and I would ask them, either I was taking over and sometimes I would be managing them, and I would ask them, well, what are you doing with the listing optimization? And their answer is, that's not what we do. We do PPC and that's it. Well, that's why you failed, because if all you care about is the PPC and you don't care about what the listing has and how it's done, then that's a recipe for disaster unless the company is creating very nice listings for you to work with. That's not always the case, and sometimes you have to care about the listing as well. They go together. PPC and listing optimization go together. You could have the best listing in the world, and if you have bad PPC, you probably won't get so far. And you could have the best PPC in the world and a bad listing, and it won't go so far. You have to have both. That's more true today than ever before.